With the Pledge of Allegiance.
I know. All right.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call finds all present except for Marcia Kraft. All right, we'll start with the Employee of the Month, Lauren Sylvester. Come on up, Lauren.
All right, so, congratulations first of all.
They want me to go up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna read a couple things that were shared.
Okay.
All right, so,
Sure.
the person that nominated you said, "My primary reasoning for nominating Lauren as Employee of the Month is her dedication, commitment, involvement, and leadership at Tri-City United. She consistently shows her dedication to her students by going above and beyond to help them achieve academic and personal success. Lauren is not only committed to her students, but also to her district. She is involved in a multitude of committees in our building to help the success of students, staff, and the morale of what TCU stands for. This year, I had the privilege of having Lauren as a mentor to me. This was not a role assigned to her, but one she willingly took on and thrived at." And then I'll read one more. Lauren is someone that is easy to turn to when looking for guidance and encouragement. She is always willing to offer her support when she can and come up with possible solutions and ideas. Her leadership is not only in these formal roles, but also in the way she leads by example. She inspires others with her work ethic, empathy, collaboration, and positivity. She is a valuable member of the district and a great example for newer staff members. So for that, congratulations for being our Employee of the Month.
We have a certificate for you, so if you want to walk around and shake their hands.
Don't trip.
Yeah, don't trip on the layers.
Yes.
Congratulations. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah. That's good for you, and then some.
Swag.
For you.
Thank you, guys. Oh, keep on.
Thank
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Yep. So,
Thank you, Lauren. All right, next we have the administrative report. We'll start with community ed.
Okay.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here to give you a little update about community education, and then Hillary may give a update also later on. For the most part, you know, when I come here, you guys kind of know what we do between preschool and Kids Zone and Special Olympics and Friendship Adventure and all the activities and sports and things that we do. So I typically try to come here and give some highlights of some things that we're doing. So we've been busy doing some new, working on some different activities and stuff. But as you probably saw in your catalog or your mailboxes, the summer catalog came out, and registrations are already flying in for some of our summer activities. Summer rec is always a hot one. You know, that happens across the district. We usually have about 140, 150 kids in that program year round. The center itself will see 85, 90 kids. So it gets pretty busy. So we have a lot of staff that work for us in the summertime with some of those. Some things that we've had to do of late is we, obviously, you guys know that we do a Friendship Adventure and Special Olympics with our individuals with disabilities. And we are now, all community eds in the state of Minnesota are now allowed to receive adults with disabilities levy dollars. These levy dollars were created back in the early 80s, and they were given to the top, or the biggest, 30 biggest school districts in the state. So community eds, you know, our size, and we're not able to access these dollars. So now that we are able to, two of the requirements to receive this as part of our state report is we have to do an adults with disabilities like community needs assessment, and we also have to take all that information and put it into a statement of assurance, it's called. So when we submit our November community ed report that will need to be included. So we recently did the Adults with Disabilities Community Needs Assessment. We sent it out to over 60 individuals, from participants to family members, guardians, to facilities that bring their clients and residents to our programs, people from the county, people from the school district, of course our advisory council and many others to do that. So we ended up having a pretty good response. We had 14 or 15 people that responded, or organizations that responded, and that information was going to be used for future program ideas. Some of the ideas that came out of there was fantastic, and some of the things that we never even thought of at our advisory council meetings. So we're excited. There are some new opportunities that we're going to be doing, hopefully here in the near future, and some ideas to explore. So it was some good conversations at our last Monday advisory council with that. So we adopted that at our advisory council, which is a requirement. And then the next steps will be developing the statement of assurance once the state determines what that's supposed to look like. So we're going to hurry up and wait for that. And then once that's done, we'll need to adopt that again at the advisory council and send that off. So that would be some good stuff that we have coming down the pipe. The last couple times I've been here, we talked about we're in the process of trying to start a mentor program, which would be similar to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. That was an organization that I did work for in Owatonna many years ago. So myself and Gretchen Lilly, she's one of our counselors up here, and then Rachel Underberg, she's one of our counselors at the pre-K 8 here in Montgomery. We are to the point where we're starting to interview mentors, so high school kids. And about 2 weeks ago, Gretchen and I gave a presentation to a group of sophomores to kind of let them know what this program would be and if they would be interested. So fortunately for us, all 17 of them at the time signed up, and we happened to interview all 17 of them today, back to back. So it's been an interesting day. It's been a fun day, as I was telling Elida. So to kind of get to know them. And so that process was well done, and the students did fantastic with that. And now our next steps will be, we're going to be starting reaching out to the parents of the identified littles and basically getting permission to allow us to talk to their child. And once we get those consent forms good to go, Rachel Underberg and myself, we're going to start meeting with the littles that were identified at the Montgomery Pre-K 8, and then hopefully, identifying, going through the interviews that we had for the high school kids and the littles, and we can start hopefully kind of getting a couple matches here before the end of the school year. So it was a great experience today, hearing all the different answers. We had 10 questions, and the kids did great. But how they all interpret the questions was really interesting. And some of them very passionate and excited about giving back to some kids and for various reasons. So that's pretty exciting, and we'll get that rolling. And the idea would be to get a few matches this year yet for the school year, try to get some bugs worked out if there are any, and then in the spring or in the fall when we return to really hopefully get a lot more. So that's going to be a great program for TCU that we're going to be offering for some of our kids. We did get a $500 donation, which you probably saw, from the Montgomery Community Foundation, so we really want to thank them for that, and those are going to be used for startup costs. So when the bigs come over to the elementary, they're going to be meeting in designated spots. Might be in a conference room, might be in the cafeteria, might be in Miss Underberg's room, but we're going to have like some totes or some shelves full of board games, activities, arts, crafts, whatever, because we definitely found out today that our high school students all have different interests. It's not just, sports, it's fine arts, and it's, one was engineering, and it's just like, wow, this is really cool. So we'll be looking at spending those dollars for that. So thank you to the Montgomery Community Foundation for that. Little update with our TCU La Center fax room. We ended up raising about $5,100 for that, and about $500 of that's going to be dedicated for Anna to identify to recognize our sponsors in the room, and then eventually probably in the lobby area by the office. And then the rest of that will be going towards ordering equipment and items for that fax room. So Elida has been working on that. She's been doing a fantastic job of paring all this information down, because we got a list from Hillary, we got a list from Amy Sauter, our food services director, we got it from Terry Squires here, so she had the pleasure of, condensing all that into an order. So hopefully sometime here in the next few weeks, she's gonna get those ordered and get everything unpacked, because we are planning some community ed classes in there that's in the catalog, so we gotta go. So we're pretty excited for that. Some programs over there. So that'll be another program for the community to do. Another one that we'll be doing is we are going to be working with an organization out of Steele County in Owatonna called Let's Smile. This is a dental program that works with like Minnesota dental program that works like with sealants. They're going to come in 3 days in May. And Kevin did have them flipped. I caught that. So May 12th is going to be Lonsdale, May 13th will be Montgomery, then May 14th will be the center. But Let's Smile organization aligns with the Minnesota Child and Teen Dental Checkup Standards and their early and periodic screening, diagnosis, and treatment. They are committed to promoting optimal oral health among low-income children and teens through a range of preventative and restorative measures. So they're not going to be coming in and filling cavities and pulling teeth, things like that. So they're going to be, each slot will probably be 15 to maybe 30 minutes. They're going to come in with the kids. They're going to, check their teeth, do some sealants and things like that. The family will get a full report. Hey, great. Keep doing this. Or the other one said you should really go see a professional, which is great. Some of the big things that we talked to a couple, Amanda Slottick and I, talked to a couple places, and one thing that we really liked about this Let's Smile out of Owatonna, there's no cost. There's no cost, and as I mentioned, they work with like low-income families. So the students that we're probably going to see are going to be on some kind of state insurance, or they're going to have no insurance. And even with the individuals that might not have any insurance, there's going to be no cost to them. Because this organization relies on donations and grants. So we're pretty excited about that. For our part, what do we need to do? They're going to be in the process of making flyers, one for each school, and we're also going to get it in Spanish, which would be great. So we have to do a lot of the promotion, and then we'll have to collect the consent forms, Samantha Slottick and I. And on the day of each event, we have to give them a dedicated space. And then we'll be needing to like shuffle kids back and forth. So if I'm sitting in the chair, there's a kid waiting, so we're just going to be kind of shuffling. So the first time out, we're not sure about how many kids we're going to get. Usually might be a little skeptical about the program. They really don't have a minimum. They said if there's only 2 kids for the first time, we'll come out and see 2 kids. But after that, kind of as the word gets out, it'll grow. And we'll probably do 2 a year. They usually go to each school twice a year. So this will be May, so we'll probably be looking like at October, November, and then a May in the future. So there's really no cost to us either. Some time spent on the day, but this is going to be a great way to support our community, especially some of those low-income families and so forth that may struggle going to the dentist with that. So lastly, we're in TCU Montgomery. We're going to be working with LeSueur County and providing some facility space for a community resiliency conversations. There's a group at the county that has been formed to, hopefully the goal is to start like a family resource center. And they're going to be hosting events, one in LeSueur, and they're going to be hosting 2 in Montgomery. The first one is going to be on April 8th. This is going to be like a family well-being event. It's going to be in the choir room right by the middle school gym. And then on April 29th, this is going to be the community resiliency conversations. So there's going to be a couple different things happening each evening, and they're going to try to get folks into the building and provide resources and some other things. They are looking at, I think, a long-range plan, and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, they might look at possibly having an office over here, because not so much at TCU, but in Montgomery someplace, so families can visit them and have some privacy, and may have some issues getting over to the center, for example. So they're looking at some opportunities to provide some families with some opportunities locally. So we're excited to do that. For our part, besides the facilities, we are going to be providing childcare, And we are gonna work with we're gonna have kids from 1 to 11, which is gonna be a little change from what our kids zone policy is, but we are gonna have 3 to 4 county workers that are gonna be in the room with us in case a kid has an accident or behavior or anything like that. But we're gonna be providing services for our part, so families can spend time with the professionals, not have to worry about their kiddos and what they're doing. So we're more than happy to provide that for our community members at that event. So those would be some good ones that'll be coming up. So, are there any questions for me? I just kind of want to give you guys some highlights and some things that we have going on. And summer catalog's out. This is going to be our busiest time of the year. I was joking at our advisory council. We actually look forward to school starting because it slows down a little bit, which is kind of against the grain.
I heard that like 3 times in the last week, Lane. No, Lane's right, though. That space that they're looking to provide is more of a discrete kind of place where people can come and go and feel like it's comfortable for them to go. So it probably wouldn't be at the school, but somewhere in a small office downtown where people can pull up and then get some services met. So it's pretty key to be able to do that. They're just trying to shift across the county a little bit more to be able to supply some people with some further needs that they can't necessarily cost out or pay for. So it's pretty awesome. They're getting grants for that.
Mhm.
So there's kind of shopping around and looking right now as to what they want to do. So it's pretty awesome. And the dental program, thanks Lane for getting that up and running. That is going to be huge for our kids that have that need. I think that brings a huge piece to Tri-City United for us to be able to help kids out. So it's awesome.
What's the age range for that?
So right now, we're gonna be looking at, we're just gonna do the elementaries to start.
Yeah.
So it'll be pre-K,
12 years oldish.
pre-K 8, pre-K 6. Yep, so each building, all the kids in the buildings will be, age levels will be covered that qualify. So if it goes well, we'll eventually try to do like the high school.
Yep.
So what they're just basically, see, the first day is gonna be Lonsdale, so they're gonna go from Lonsdale, at the end of the day, they're gonna come over to Montgomery, set up in the dedicated spot. After Montgomery, they're gonna go to the center for the dedicated spot, so they're gonna do 3 in a row. And I think it goes well, next year we may try to add the high school.
You said for those who qualify, how do they qualify for that? I didn't
So
understand.
for the dental program?
Yeah.
So they need to be on like one of the state insurances.
Okay, you did say that, okay.
Yep, so they need to be, insured, whatever some of those insurance are, or they have no insurance at all.
Okay.
Did they get contacted for that, or did we advertise?
So we're gonna work with the buildings to start getting the word out, and there'll be some explanations in there on who qualifies and who doesn't, so.
Great.
So then after that, they're gonna have to sign a consent form, and then we'll have to get them back and, collect them for that day. And eventually provide a schedule. So if we have 15 at a site, we'll just have to work with them and shuffling kids, and it'll be good.
Very cool.
Thanks, Lane.
Yep, you bet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lane. All right.
Real quick, before Kevin starts, we're gonna move, just so everyone's aware, we're gonna move the Titan Pride Awards to after Kevin speaks, so just so everyone knows. Go ahead, Kevin.
Perfect. So just a couple of updates. First of all, thanks for all the students and everybody for coming to tonight's board meeting. So appreciate the students being here for your class. Anyway, just a couple updates. I'll let the facilities team talk about some of the facility things when we get to that part of the agenda. But a few of us have met. We are looking at putting a display board into the high school here that will start to portray all the yearbooks of not only TCU, but of Lee Center, Montgomery Lonsdale. We're going to be including all the trophies from all of our other sites onto that display board. So it's a touchscreen board that will allow us to do things not just here for people to do, but also families from home. So we're in the process now waiting for that to come, and then we're going to start downloading things on there. And then eventually we'll be looking at reinvigorating a Hall of Fame and then a TCU Hall of Fame at some point. So I want to just state that we've got some things coming with that. It's going to be between the 2 gym doors to the main gym here to start promoting some of our past with the things that have happened in Lee Center and Montgomery and Lonsdale. So we get people noticed throughout the district from now and in the past. So really exciting with that. I met with Sign Pro from Mankato to talk about, we have a couple of signs with some old logos that need to be updated. So we're looking at potentially what that may look like. We have the high school sign out front and so on and so forth. So looking at maybe updating a few things in regards to that. District administration team, we met last week and really we talked about how to build trust within our communities, how we can continue to work with each other for our updates, having conversations about some capital things that potentially may be coming up. So it was a great meeting for us to start sharing on how we feel about things in the district, and then start to proceed forward with some of that ideas. Lane and I already met, so I'm not going to bring that up. It's been awesome because over the last 2 weeks we've had some community listening sessions where we've allowed people to come in to our three communities and share what they think and feel and how they think and feel about our facilities, and give some ideas and thoughts on what that looks like and what could look like. We've had some good attendance at those, and we've had a lot of good input for those facility engagement teams, our facility people coming in here. And we're going to take that data, it'll be on the website up and running here soon. There's already a spot on there for some of the facility things that we have going. Ann and I talked today, and we're going to get that even more updated so that you can see the results of everything that's coming up from our communities. That's going to lead into some other people coming back from some meetings that we had 2.5 years ago, where we had a strategic team come in and analyze the district from up to the roof down to the floors, and then give a report back to the board. They'll be coming back every Thursday in April, along with other people that want to be a part of that, this task force to come in and also share. Those task force meetings will be a little bit different because they're not going to be all about tours and looking at the buildings. I'll be doing a tour prior to those meetings. They're at 6 to 7:30, and then that way I can show people around. But those are also then to discuss the projects that were discussed in the past, and then continue those conversations as we look at some potential capital projects coming up here. So excited about that. I attended MASA conference this last week, which was really exciting, not only to converse with colleagues, but also to talk about legislation, where it's at. Obviously the federal government thinking about shutting down the education department, and just looking at where we're at right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, obviously, within the state, and how education is going to be funded. Governor Walz threw a few more things out there on Friday, but there is literally still about 800 bills still sitting on the table for education. So where all those fall is to be decided. And we're graciously waiting on that because it affects not only our teacher negotiations, but also affects our current and future budget necessary, and how we look at how we're going to budget. So we're patiently waiting. Basically, they finish towards the end of May. We may not find out some things until June, July, as far as budgetary things coming up. So it's a lot of 300 and some school districts sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to find out what's happening from legislation. So should be interesting. I attended some really good sessions, not only on capital things, but just listening on communications and being transparent, and working through some various meetings and professional development sessions that I sat through. So it was a great couple of days to learn more from my side, and to bring more to the district. So really excited about that. With that, I'll congratulate them again, but we have a couple of students here that are state champs. I'll let Josh bring that up real quick, and then I'll read something. But and I'll leave it with anybody has any questions, obviously with anything moving forward, please just reach out to me, and then I'll be happy to answer those questions.
Thanks. Before we do Titan Pride, I just need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Chris Wessock, seconded by Trevor Hone to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's passed 6-0. Okay, Titan Pride Awards. We have a couple of state champs in the house. Adopted floor hockey state champions Brock Cassina and Emmett Wolbeck. Hopefully I said your names correctly. So come on up, guys, and Kevin. If you...
Yep, I'm going to read something from Coach Jeremy Kowal. Hopefully I said that right. But he couldn't be here tonight, he's on vacation. And we want to always make sure that we recognize our students at our board meetings. So he said, thanks, Kevin, that's me. But below is some information about the season and what I would say as their coach if I were able to attend. I can't express my gratitude enough for the cooperation from all 4 school districts involved in making this happen. This is what he said. The New Prague adopted floor hockey team consists of athletes from New Prague, Belle Plaine, Jordan, and TCU. The floor hockey team won the state championship on March 8th after completing an undefeated season with a record of 11-0. This year's team was composed of 22 athletes in total, 2 of which are from TCU. The 2 athletes representing TCU on the state championship team are senior Emmett and 8th grader Brock. Both Emmett and Brock saw action for the varsity team all season and at the state tournament. Both have been an amazing addition to the team. As a senior, we thank Emmett for his contributions to this team, and we look forward to many years ahead with Brock on the team. We are so very thankful for the cooperation of all 4 schools to make this team happen for these athletes. The past 2 seasons, the floor hockey team has taken 2nd place at the state tournament, but finally broke through this year, winning the championship. In the 20 years of the co-op floor hockey team's existence, they have seen 15 tournament appearances, 2 third-place finishes, 3 second-place finishes, and 3 state titles. This team is a proud tradition that we hope continues for many years to come. Thank you to the people of the TCU district for providing this opportunity, and we look forward to welcoming more players from TCU in the future. So with that being said, I would like to everybody stand up and congratulate Emmett
Thanks, guys.
and Brock.
And
Yeah,
shake
go ahead.
hands, and we'll look at you.
Good job, Emmett, good job.
Congratulations.
Good job, Brock.
Awesome.
Good job.
Absolutely awesome.
Where's some wires, boys?
No, I just won this one.
Good job, Brock. That's good for you, bud.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job.
Good job, boys.
And we're gonna give that one more because that's.
Okay. Next, under the consent agenda, we have approval of minutes from the February 24th, 2025 board meeting. Under personnel, employment ending, Don Markison, head girls basketball coach. Laura Angelino, B squad girls basketball coach. Elisha Sanders, paraprofessional. Bridget Cavan, speech language pathologist. John Getzinger, custodian. Laura Angelino, special education teacher. Tony Barnack, assistant football coach. Teresa Croyer, assistant cook at the high school. Emily Bauer, JV volleyball coach. Jennifer Dietman, multilingual teacher. Amy Greger, kitchen helper. Under new hires, we have Macy Glipsky, track coach. Jackson Nesmo, volunteer track coach. Sophie Smith, volunteer track coach. Jenna Etbos, thank you, paraprofessional. Gina Etbos, Kids Zone worker. Ruth Troutner, Kids Zone worker. Natalie Dirks, part-time Kids Zone worker. Celeste Ammett, special education teacher. Brianna Peach, elementary teacher. Brianna McKeel, nurse personnel. Taylor Johnson, speech language pathologist. Emily Russo, high school biology teacher. Laura Morrison, speech language pathologist. Emily Russo, B squad girls basketball coach. Rory Anderstrom, high school chemistry. Sarah Larson, middle school English. Teresa Collins, first grade long-term sub. Amy Greger, assistant cook. Marlis Green, school counselor. Under leave of absence, we have Kristen Denzer, elementary teacher. Kayla Buss, elementary teacher. And approval of bills in the amount of $841,972.04. And the finance report. I will seek a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Chris Vlasok, seconded by Cindy Fleechek to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is passed 6-0. Under open forum, there's no one here tonight. So we will move on to informational items. Baseball 2026 spring training trip. Come on up, guys. You're supposed to be at practice or something right now?
Yeah, I did just come from practice.
Okay.
Sorry, that's did not.
Did I just wave at you guys?
Poor
Not
attire.
Not me, I'm just here.
So I'm Greg Westerman. I'm the head baseball coach, and with me is Mike Jarek and Josh Twink, who have taken point to start up a booster club for the baseball program this fall. Previously, there was not one, so they have been working on that. So partnering together, right? I think you hopefully saw some of the information ahead of time. I can't see the screen without my glasses, and I can't see the paper with my glasses. But
Just tell me when to advance.
yeah, go ahead. Right, so what we're looking to do is to establish honestly a regular rhythm of a biannual trip for the baseball program to go somewhere warmer when it's not great weather here in Minnesota to start the season, get a little jump start, team bonding and to create some opportunities for the kids that maybe they wouldn't get otherwise. Go ahead, if you flip. So this is a little bit of a chicken and an egg thing, right? Is that, here looking to get some approval, hopefully can answer all your questions. We put the framework of a plan together, but without, not comfortable yet putting money down on things, right? Or making financial commitments until we can get through this. But this is the plan, and this is mirrored a lot after the Belle Plaine baseball program, who's been doing this for a lot of years. They've used this same facility at Cocoa Beach spring training. They've used other ones too, and in talking to their coach, they found that this is a nice fit for their kind of program, which we're very similar as. It's not the top end facilities, not the bottom, but it's very financially reasonable, and they got plenty of teams that are there at the facility so you can interact with and you can play with, and then there's the lodging package and meals package is all part of that program too. So that hotel is the one that they recommended, that part of their as their package too. So if you flip ahead, did that go 2 or did I go 2? No, okay, that's perfect. So what we're talking about here is a 5 or 6 day trip, most likely. Again, we'd have to see what some of the specifics are. I've had contact with Cocoa Beach spring training about their availability. I think when I first reached out to them, they thought I was talking about this year, and they were really excited to talk, but they don't take applications for next year until April. So plenty of facility there. What would work best for us is something in the late part of March. I had jotted down here like from March 24th to the 29th. There is a Friday off school. That's the end of the quarter, so it is a little bit of a less of a student impact there. The baseball season typically starts April 1st is when they first start scheduling games. So ideally, we'd like to do something right up before that, when we come back and hopefully not have to come back into a gym when we return. Looked at spring break. It's just too late next year on the calendar. To fit in 20 baseball games in a 7-week period. If we aren't available to get started in early April, it really doesn't work that well. Typically, what a day would look like for the kids is we'd use the facility or the hotel would provide breakfast and then a bag lunch to take over to the facility. And then we'd either practice or scrimmage in the mornings with ourselves or the other teams there. The high school league allows 2 or 3 scrimmage days. I get some conflicting information we need to sort out if it's 2 or 3. But then the other days are available for practice. And what we'd like to do then is leave the afternoons open for other activities. The New York Mets spring training facility is close to there. It's right near Kennedy Space Center, and there's another other activities and things that can be incorporated in this too. The lodging is about $120 a night per kid, provided you do 4-person occupancy, and that gets them access to the facility. They do offer a 3-meal package. I don't think a 3-meal package is best for us. We want to have some flexibility in the evenings if we're around or not around, and not be tied to the hotel area all the time. So that's kind of the framework of what we're talking about. If you flip ahead, I tried to put a little bit more details on. We think that the approximate cost per player or per student would be around $1,200. Too early to book flights. They're $294 right now for that time frame. This year they were. Lodging is the high end of so that's 3 meals for 5 nights. That 4 nights is what Belle Plaine did the last time, so we do need to think about that. We need to rent a few vans, some costs for doing things in the evening and some of the activities, meals on travel days, souvenirs, trying to kind of figure out where we can do. Mike and Josh and the Booster Club are looking to help however we can offset the costs. This already assumes about a $4,000 to $5,000 donation from the Booster Club to offset some of the costs, particularly the activities and dinners and things to keep that cost down, and whatever else we can do would just be a supplemental reduction from each kid. The trip itself, like I mentioned, biannual. I think we would look to have 3 or 4 coaches go along to chaperone and be in charge. My perspective is the coaches would pay their own way. We wouldn't use the booster funds cost for that, and that we would want to use whatever we have to offset player costs. Ideally, we would like to take 16 players. The 4-person per room occupancy works with that, and what we'd like to do to get into a regular rhythm is just this be an offering for all the seniors and juniors that were in good standing in the program the prior year. We do, need to be a little bit diligent about people coming out for baseball just that year. So from the prior year's program, it doesn't work or make sense if we don't fit the 4-person occupancy. So if depending on how big that number is, we may have to fill in a spot or 2, or we may have to go to 20 if there are 18 kids in that group. If we looked at next year with the current roster this year, there'd be 15. There are 15 sophomores and juniors in the baseball program today, so pretty close to what we'd be looking at. So then if you flip, I just put together what a typical agenda would look like. A travel day, we'd try to practice that afternoon if we could get there, depending on what the flight arrangements were. Then each of the mornings we'd either scrimmage or have a practice, and then the afternoons we'd do some all team activities. I think the big thing for us in this is we want to incorporate where these 16 kids are together as much of the time as we can, doing things together and the same day, and then hopefully on travel day we can squeeze in one more practice in the morning before we have to go drive back to Orlando to fly out. So we need to rent a couple vans. I think what we want to do and why we're trying to do this now is so that we can start, and the Booster Club can start working on some supplemental fundraisers that kids can be a part of to help reduce their cost. We can also start soliciting for community donations and things to help offset the costs. We do have to be cautious that we don't dip into the already existing fundraisers and processes the Booster Club have. We need those for the regular running of the program. And then we need to do some things that are supplemental. But also by starting early, we'd be able to put together an installment plan for each of the kids that are interested in going, where, we could have it be $250 every 8 weeks or so to kind of work your way through that. And if you fundraise there, then we can reduce some of those on the back end. But rather than a quick bill of a big number, we can, by doing it early, we can put together a little bit more of a as you go process. So.
Do you are you using like a travel agent? Because obviously you're gonna have all your equipment too, right? So I was just looking at the travel costs.
Yeah.
Because they got baggage, right?
So and again, in talking to some of the other teams that have done this before, Belle Plaine has not had the kids bring all of their bags, right? They'll throw a pair of shoes and a glove and stuff into with their suitcase. Right, and we can throw all the bats and some helmets into one bag. So I think we would avoid having people have to bring 2 bags, and we could bring a couple bags of equipment, but then they would just need to worry about bringing their stuff, and we'd consolidate the other things.
Very cool.
So yeah, we have not made any contact with the travel agency. Had some contact with the facility, who would line up the playing surface. Right, the other teams that are there as well, so we always know there's other teams, and part of the application process is kind of a self-assessment of what your level of play is, so they can try to get you lined up
And so they
with the
match you up
right
with
groups.
teams and
Yeah,
stuff?
yep, yeah, and then they manage the lodging too, so that part's taken care of. Really, all we have to deal with is, the flights and a couple vans to get, around and from Orlando, and then whatever we wanna do for the downtime activities.
What kind of fundraising have you thought of? Any additional fundraising kind of?
We've looked at a few things. We've talked about trying to put together a golf tournament. There's trying to tap into untapped things. There's a mulch opportunity potentially where, similar to the salt fundraiser, but it's, bags of mulch, that we've looked at. It's not very profitable, but,
The hard part with that one is bags of salt can be put into a person's car. We have to logistically figure out, guys with trailers to be able to maybe go and just do one delivery day. So that's kind of what we've been working a little bit through.
yeah, we've got a plan to put a booth. We worked with the community club. It's gonna let us have a booth at Kolachki Days where we're gonna try to do a speed pitch, area where kids or adults can throw balls, measure how fast. We got a radar gun, we'll see how fast they throw it, and we can, collect a few bucks for every ball they throw. So we've got a few ideas, no real big ideas. A dinner in the fall or winter, I think would be something that would be good. Maybe it's because I was just at that post-prom one on Saturday, but right, those are, I think, ways where we can get as much activity for participation, right, and generate some funds. I do think, to be honest, I think we're probably gonna be just as successful putting together some sponsorship programs with some of the local nonprofits as we are to try to do individual fundraising. If we can package some things up to help cover, this much to sponsor a team dinner one night, this much to sponsor the team vans, and I think we can probably make as much headway in that way as we can in smaller individual fundraisers.
A lot of those community organizations that we've been to, just talking to, they want something, right, to donate to. And if we can put together, kind of have a little bit of a list, that's gonna be really helpful when we go into those meetings and talk to those people.
And the amount, I know these are all estimates.
Yeah.
The $1,300 per player, is that, first of all, the fundraising goes into the booster club, and the booster club then
Yeah.
pays out. So is that $1,300 assuming?
That's assuming about a $4,000
Okay.
contribution from if you look at those numbers on there, the activities one, that's the one that's heavily subsidized by the booster club. We've got, between the booster club and the baseball account, we've got about $7,000 balance right now. So we're not in a bad position, considering the booster club was only founded in November.
Yeah.
So so I think we want to try to build this in a way where this is right. If we want to do this biannually, that this is a repetitive process and can be more self-funding. As opposed to, emptying the coffers, so to speak, to reduce the cost of this so much next year, that then we are at a disadvantage for just running the operation.
You probably already looked to get group rates to those, like the Mets and all of that stuff too?
Probably, yeah, I haven't looked into it tremendously. The timing is dependent a little bit too, so, yeah. But I think there's a lot of things where that would be very possible. I know Kennedy Space Center does have like a group rate. That's the only one I really looked into. But that would have the most appeal to this group.
Can you bring back the dunk tank for Kolachki Days?
We can. We
That
can.
had to make some
You
money,
raised
didn't it?
$2,000 with Trevor on there first.
Yeah.
No, they were all in it.
Yeah, we had
They raised
coaches
some
in it.
money.
It did, the struggle with our dunk tank was that it's a finite amount of time that you can, it's like you have to be in the park at a specific time to do it. To get, we're gonna have the dunk tank. I can't have somebody sitting there from noon until 4 for anybody who passes by.
Josh.
But yeah.
Usually it was like your group, the kids that you coached, they're all waiting for the next one to come up there. It's
Yeah.
like,
So we were gonna try this.
Josh is in there and his group is throwing, and then my group is sitting right behind him before he's done, waiting.
I like the speed pitch idea, if you can find a way to be in all three communities, community days, Kolachki days.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I think we do have a day planned where we've juggled the baseball and softball schedules a little bit. So we're gonna do a later baseball game in Lonsdale in the evening after there's a softball game that day, and we're gonna try to coordinate some stuff with the softball team and the baseball team. So we're gonna test drive our speed pitch event at at Lonsdale that day.
This has nothing to do with your guys' trip, but why did they stop doing it? Do you know, Greg?
The trip?
Yeah.
When I talked to Coach Davis, he just said it's a great, just a lot of work. That was really what it was. I
Just
think.
curious.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's usually what it is, planning and work.
I think that's the big thing, is just trying to create a sustainable plan for.
Cause you guys both went, right? Josh and Mike? Yeah. What was going on for a lot of years.
Mhm.
3 times I think Montgomery did it, maybe in the late '90s to early 2000s.
Yeah.
3 years, do you think that was it?
I think they
I
might
don't
have
know,
won.
last year was 06-ish.
Okay.
I thought Miller was saying.
Well, I mean, they went 97.
97 is when I went.
Yeah. Then I guess again in '99. So maybe it's more than that. Yeah.
But you guys didn't get kicked out of Florida or anything, did you?
Oh, no, somewhat. There have been, that may have been part of it. There's been people sent home, and there would be again, right, if things happen. But, yeah, so I think, it's an opportunity. The baseball part of it is one thing, and yes, it'd be great to get some practice in and to be outside. But really, this is more about an experience and a team bonding event and an activity. So I think if we can find a way to do it that's somewhat financially passable, I think that's always the biggest question. I think I don't expect to be able to create something that comes at no cost to those participating. I think that to be realistic, I think best case scenario, this gets to an $800 to $1,000 expense for those students, but and their families, but.
As a varsity coach, I think it's, it's a great thing. Softball's doing it. I was very behind softball doing it. I'm glad you guys should get back into it. The team bonding, I think, is huge. Off the field activities, I think, helps team bonding greatly. My concern is just the financial part of it on families that can't afford it. So if we can beat those prices down by donations, is awesome.
Yeah, and I think that then the other piece is just to be able to stretch it out over a longer period of time, right? So that it does not become such an immediate burden. But yeah, I think that's a big piece, right? And I think that maybe there's a way that we can figure out some type of scholarship process too, right? And I don't know if that works well or how you do that from funneling of particular funds to more needs, but yeah, I think a lot of it's new to us, right? And I think we haven't really, passed this on to parents and families. Briefly mentioned, at a fall meeting with parents, but I think we'll need to see where everyone's at and do that. But yeah, I feel confident that the communities rally so many times around stuff. So I think feel confident.
Well, I think also with the booster club too, again, like Greg said, we're new in November. As we get into even April here, we're gonna have a pretty good handle on where we're operating at in terms of the checkbook and all of that too, which will really give us pretty good insight on what we needed to spend throughout the year as well. I mean, we have obviously our calculations and that's what we're going off of, but maybe we might be able to give a little bit more potentially too. So.
Because there hasn't been a booster club up until this last fall.
No.
Not for a long time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right, and they're already trying to do things to just stop from the nickel and diming of costs, right? You used to have to, after you signed up, then extra $30 to get your hat for the season, right? And things in the booster clubs is covering that this year, right? And some of the other things to your point, Trevor, to just, let people participate and do so without having to keep dipping into their pocket.
In 2 springs from now, is that another band choir trip year?
So you would be doing it next spring?
That would be the plan.
Yeah,
That's what
It'd
we're
be an off year.
It'd be off year.
And it'd be the off year of softball too, if they do
Softball
anything
will be the
recurring
other,
as well,
okay.
yeah. I don't know what their plans are.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was my other point is thanks for bringing it up to us well in advance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I think that would be, I think we don't have the infrastructure set up to do anything any quicker than that anyways. We need time to figure this out too, so.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Thanks, guys.
All right, so
Appreciate
what's next, like,
It should, it would be on the board agenda next in April.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right, perfect.
Great, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Great work.
I know. Okay, graduation representation is for who's gonna be on.
Yeah, who wants to?
Um, I would love to be on the stage because I've got a niece and a nephew. You are gonna graduate, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
Way to call her out board meeting,
Just
Josh.
kidding. I have a niece and a nephew I would love to be on stage, so.
Well, you can be on stage.
I haven't got that. I will be on stage.
I have a daughter graduating. I would like to hand out diplomas this year.
Well, there you go. You three can have it. Be on stage. Shine.
Hillary or Sue, did you have any interest in being?
I did, but I don't need to.
Because we can have more.
Oh.
right?
It doesn't need to be capped at 3, I don't think.
No,
Oh.
we can make it work.
I'll do it then.
Do you have somebody you can hire?
No.
Oh, you
I'm
just-
signing them all this year though, so I wanna see who I'm signing.
Oh,
Brenda,
so you
let's
wanna
write the
be-
4 down.
It's also exciting.
So Trevor, Josh,
You're not
Yeah.
gonna be signing
Kirsten,
them on
Hillary.
stage.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if they're all on the stage, but my dad had one.
yeah, I'll look at that, figure it out too. I don't
And if not,
mind
that's
we're
fine.
sitting back to back as well if we
Well,
get to.
yeah, we might as
So,
well be on the stage.
That would be ideal.
Long lineup.
That's really what it should be anyway. Honestly.
Okay, enrollment.
Enrollment, not much to report. We're down a few students. It's just a couple high school shifts to homeschool and for another various reason. So attendance is staying
Doesn't bother
fairly,
me one bit.
fairly the same.
Okay.
So,
Just a couple.
yep, just a couple from high school. We have one shift to homeschool and one for
Okay.
services.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next we have committee updates.
I can talk about it.
Okay, thank you. I did forgot to touch base with you on that.
Unless you really want to.
Nope, go for it.
So
Start with finance, by the way.
Finance committee met with and spoke with Dion.
Oops, sorry.
Set the budget parameters for the 2025-26 budget, as Dion's starting to get into that now. So these are the budget parameters. I believe a lot of them are very similar to what we've done in the past.
Correct.
General fund balance guidelines have stayed the same. Updated inflationary costs. So I think we'll be improving this later, but these are the budgetary parameters that were set.
Facilities.
Oh, we just had a facilities meeting again tonight. Couple things. Some of the stuff that's gonna happen this summer. A lot of flooring in Lonsdale and in not in Lonsdale, TCU Lee Center and TCU Montgomery. A little bit more in Lee Center,
Center.
correct? Yeah. As you guys can tell, we've gone to a lot of carpet tiles, so we're going that direction. They last longer and they're easier to replace and cost effective, so we're gonna see a lot more carpet tiles in our district. Easier to clean, no more waxing, and then we have some other hard surface products going down. So a lot of flooring, and then Superintendent Babcock talked about those committees, those meetings that we just had. I don't know if you guys have, anybody's reached out to you about those meetings, but they're all wrapped up now, correct? All 3 of them are done?
Correct. And the survey's done.
Yep, and the survey closed today.
Today.
So, as finance committee, we are waiting to hear back on how that survey turned out for a little bit more direction to see what our taxpayers would like to see and what direction they would like to see us going.
You got the roof in Montgomery.
Yep,
And
the summer, the roofs.
Yep, maybe even in May, so there'll be a roof replaced over the gym here in TCU Montgomery.
The big gym.
Yep, and then there's a space between the media center and a steam area, and Lonsdale will have a glass partition wall to separate that, and then some flooring in the middle school weight room in the center.
No school right now, yep. A lot of flooring this summer.
Yep, a lot of fun.
And some roofs. That was about it for this meeting.
Great, thanks. Insurance? they going out for bid again?
I can speak to that. So within a little less than 2 weeks, it's out for bid right now. So we have, I gotta remember if it's 4 or 5 companies, I think it's 4 companies have allowed for bids for us. So NIS, our insurance broker, basically is working with those companies right now to see where they settle. So we're patiently awaiting that right now. And hopefully that we will be at a good spot compared to what we have been in the last 2 years. So that'll be coming up here by the middle of next week. So we'll let people know where we're at with that, going into some negotiations coming up as well. So.
Great. And then community ed advisory.
We met last Tuesday. Lane covered most of it. The one thing I think I just wanted to address is that as of July 1st, having to deal with driver's ed, they are going to an online system. And so we have the opportunity to then proctor the written exam after they take the class here for those that are 15 at the time. So that will be helpful to us and not having to get them to the DMV to have that test. And obviously there's no blue cards, so that will be all electronic as of July 1st, so.
You mean the whole class or just?
No, like
test.
the test.
Just
We're
the
gonna
test.
administer the test here after they finish up their
Just
session.
their permit test.
Yes, just the permit test. I think that's it. Everything else was covered already.
Great. Thank you.
Who is our insurance advisor right now on the committee? You were last year too, right? Okay, just curious.
And Kelly knew about that.
Oh, well, I didn't even know that. I was just curious
Because I
who
was,
it was.
remember, I took off to be at the meeting at 5 o'clock the day before, so I gotta pick and choose.
It's kind of an interesting committee to be on because the board members, we can't do a whole lot with that whole process either, so. Okay, new business. I got some donations here. Hillary, go ahead.
Yep. Be it resolved that the School Board of Independent School District 2905 accepts with appreciation the following donations and permits their use as designated by the donors. Anonymous, high school weight room lockers, $2,500. TCU track and cross country, high school weight room lockers, $500. Kathy Westerman, high school weight room lockers, $1,000. Lee Center Fire Department, Lee Center Phi-Ed equipment, $500. Boys soccer, high school weight room lockers, $200. Montgomery Community Foundation, Community Ed Mentoring Program, $500. Lee Seward County Sheriff's Youth Project, high school weight room and lockers, $2,500. Lee Seward County Sheriff's Youth Gambling Account, high school weight room and lockers, $2,500. Brad and Brooks O'Keefe, high school weight room lockers, $500.
Okay, I'll need a second.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion introduced by Hillary Birdsell, which was seconded by Chris Vlesak. This will be a roll call vote. Trevor?
Yes.
I am a yes. Chris?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Hillary?
Yes.
And Susie?
Yes.
All right, resolution is passed 6-0. Next, I'll seek a motion to approve the budget parameters set by the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Trevor Hone, seconded by Hillary Birdsell to approve the budget parameters set by the Finance Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is passed 6-0. Okay, next we'll need a motion to approve the food service management contract renewal with Taher. Kevin, any comments on this one, or?
Nope, I think it was very favorable. It was about a 3% increase only from year to year. With everything going on, was a pretty favorable increase from Taher
When do we have to go back out for bids on the food service again?
next year.
Next year, we gotta do the whole process
Yeah.
again? Okay.
Yeah, so they came in really favorable, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay, good.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Chris Vlesak, seconded by Cindy Fleachek to approve the food service management contract renewal with Taher Incorporated for the 25-26 school year. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's passed 6-0. All right, we've got some non-renewals. How about you, Hillary?
Yep. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2905 that pursuant to Minnesota statutes 122A .40 subdivision 5, that the teaching contract of Diana Taylor Mixlavics and Andrew Marincic. Oh, is that how you're gonna say Malinkovic? I have no idea.
No.
Marincic, are hereby, probationary teacher of this district is hereby reduced by 1.0 FTE at the close of the 2024-2025 school year.
Okay, given it's a resolution, this will be a roll call vote. Trevor?
Second.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry, I'll need a second. Sorry. Okay, I have a resolution read by Hillary Birdsell, seconded by Chris Vlasak. This will be a roll call vote. Trevor?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Chris?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Hillary?
Yes.
And Susie?
Yes.
All right, resolution is passed 6-0. Next, I will seek a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:03 PM.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Hillary Birdsell, seconded by Cindy Fleachek to adjourn the meeting at 6:03 PM. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is passed 6-0. Thanks, everyone.